Hi everyone, it's Beth, and I'm here to talk to you about Works Cited page for your summary. That's due on Tuesday. I'm here to talk to you about paraphrasing, and then I wanted to mention a little bit about the paraphrase handout that I gave you in class near the end last time. So you'll notice that I have, let me go ahead and download this real quick. I have a document that I want to show you. Hold on a second. I can't get to my downloaded document. Where is it? There it is. This is going to open in Microsoft Word. And you'll see that I have actually two works cited entries, but your summary, the academic summary that is due on Tuesday, you know you're going to add a thesis statement. We went over that at the end of class last time. You know you're going to have revised summary statements that are accurate, use your own words, use your own sentence structure, represent all of the paragraphs in the source that you've chosen to summarize. We went over the in-text citation at the end of class. The one that you need to add has the starting page, a hyphen, and the ending page inside parentheses. And then you need to add a works cited page. So I have two different examples here. Actually, they're the same example twice. I accidentally copy and pasted it twice. So let me get one of them off of here. But you guys will see that this is the works cited entry you need for a source that you've summarized, and the source is coming from your textbook. Your textbook happens to be something called an anthology, and so you'll notice that my works cited page file has the word anthology in it. MLA format, Modern Language Association format, requires that you use specific entries for specific kinds of books. And in this case, an anthology is a collection of different writers' essays, so we have to write the works cited entry in this particular way. So I'm just going to go over very quickly the information that you need to pull from your textbook, but of course you can copy your works cited entry from this video. You're just going to have to change three things. So what you're going to change is your author's name, the source that you are summarizing, your author, the author of that source. It's last name, comma, first name, period. You're also going to have to change your title. Notice my title is a different essay. I'm showing you a different example. So your title will go inside double quotation marks, and a period will come after the end of the title. What's going to stay the same in your works cited entry for your academic summary is this title. This in italics is the title of the textbook. You'll notice that there's a main title, a colon, and a subtitle. After that, I just want to back up just a second to point out to you that the first two elements of the works cited entry have periods, but this third element, the textbook title, will have a comma after it, and everything after it that we list will have a comma. If this looks strange to you because you've used MLA format in the past, what I'm showing you is how to do the new works cited entry for the 8th edition, and so I guess the entries are supposed to be a little bit easier, and I actually think it is a little bit easier. So after the comma after the textbook, we list the two editors' names that are on the front of the textbook on the cover. We give the book's publisher, comma after that. This is the copyright year, this 2015, a comma after that. And then the last thing matches up with your in-text citation. The first page of the source, hyphen, last page of the source. And this is a new addition. We didn't used to have to do this, but now MLA wants us to put this abbreviation for the pages, PP period, and then a period at the very end. A couple other things. Notice my works cited title is centered on the page. It is not in bold, it is not in italics, it is not underlined. Notice that I have all of my lines double spaced. I can do double spacing from, let's see, I'm on the wrong, no, I'm here, from the paragraph section in Microsoft Word. So if you click on the paragraph section, there's a little arrow. This is Microsoft Word in a Mac, so it looks a little bit different, but you guys can get to the formatting. There's a little arrow in the bottom right corner of the paragraph section. You click on that and you can do double spacing. And also you'll notice that my first line of the works cited entry is at the left margin, but all the subsequent lines, can't say that word tonight, are indented 5 spaces. And also in the paragraph section, you can do a hanging indent. So that's how your works cited page will look. Let me remind you again that you will change your author, you will change your title because you have a different source for your works cited entry. And then I didn't say before, but well, right now that you will change your page numbers because they need to match your in-text citation. All right, let me bring up a new file, and I want to just talk for a few seconds about the difference between summary and paraphrase. And you guys can take notes in your journal if you'd like. You can watch this video many times over the semester. So we've talked in class about how summary works, and I want to talk for just a few minutes about how paraphrasing works. So we know that summary is putting a long source in our own words and sentences and condensing that source considerably. Sorry, having a little typing issue. So we're going from, an essay, a source of several pages, to what would you guys say is like the average amount of summary statements? I mean, you guys all have essays of about the same size. So let's say 20 to 25 sentences. So you see, we've really shrunk down the source to something much smaller. The paraphrase is the same as summarizing in that you put the source, let me put it this way, in all caps, a shorter source in your own words. And I have a typo up here, so I'm going to go fix that. So with summary, we're putting a longer source, a whole essay, a whole chapter perhaps, into our own words. And this time we're putting a shorter source into our own words. And what do I mean by shorter source? I'm going to put here the shorter source is usually a passage of a sentence or two. Now what's going on with paraphrases is usually you've looked at a passage, and what I mean by passages, and we practiced this in class using the journal a few nights ago, what happens is you are writing an essay, let's say, and you have to use a source, and the professor asks you to not overquote. And the thing about quoting, you see a passage from a source and you really like it and you think, oh, that's great, I'm just going to slap it into my essay as a quote. But the thing about quoting is you can overquote, and you really should save it for special situations. So we find ourselves in academic writing using paraphrase much more than we will quotes, and many more times than we will summaries as well. So paraphrasing is the kind of source usage you will use the most. So, the situation is you see this passage and then you think, oh, well, I can actually put that into my own words because I don't want to overquote. And we'll talk later in the semester about the conditions that are best for quoting. But just for now, know that you're practicing with paraphrasing in that handout that I gave you on Thursday near the end of class. So the shorter source is usually a passage of a sentence or two. You put that into your own words, but here's the difference. When we do summary, the difference between summary and paraphrase, when we do summary, we condense the source down from something long to something short. When we paraphrase, we keep all the details and your paraphrase will be the same size as the original passage. So if I have a passage from my source of 2 sentences, then my paraphrase will be 2 sentences. And if I have a passage of 3 sentences, my paraphrase will be 3 sentences. So I want to just sort of emphasize the difference here. Summary goes from long source to short paragraph, a few sentences to really boil it down, to condense it, to make it smaller. Paraphrase is putting it into your own words and keeping it the same size as the original, because you're not going to cut out the examples. You're going to keep the examples and the main points. Otherwise, it's kind of the same, right? Because you're putting it into your own words and you want your own sentences, and you're still going to have an in-text citation at the end of the paraphrase, and you're probably going to want to mention who said this information or where did it come from. So we're still going to have a lot of the same features with the paraphrase. It's just the original source, and what you put into your own words is exactly the same size. So now I'm just going to talk for a few minutes. I don't have a copy of the handout that I distributed to you in class. You'll remember I mentioned that I don't want you to paraphrase the quotes that I gave you on the handout. I want you to set up your paraphrase draft the way it looks on that handout. So I want you to use your same source from the same source as the summary for your paraphrase work. So what you're going to need to do is find a total of 4 sentences. The first 2 sentences that will come from the source you're summarizing but now practicing with paraphrase. The first 2 sentences should come, you know, somewhere early in the essay, maybe in the middle, but those 2 sentences should be right next to each other wherever you find them. Just pick 2. Doesn't matter to me which 2, but I want 2 in a row, 2 sentences in a row. And then I want you to go to a different part of that essay that you've already summarized. Pick 2 more sentences that are right next to each other. Again, I don't care which 2 they are. I just want you to pick 2 different sentences. So you're going to be summarizing, oops, sorry, wrong word. You're going to be paraphrasing 2 different passages that are 2 sentences long. And so you'll have a total of 4 sentences, but 2 in the first paraphrase and 2 in the second paraphrase. All right? So if you have any questions about the paraphrase, let me know. We will definitely review paraphrase a little bit in class, practice with it a little bit more, and I'll definitely give you some time to revise, but definitely come with that draft, because if you don't try it first, you won't be able to identify what parts don't make sense about the paraphrasing. Okay, so if you guys have questions, feel free to email me, and I will see you in class on Tuesday.